My next guest, talented actress whose films include Splash, Blade Runner, and Steel Magnolias, currently starring in a new film called Dancing in the Blue Iguana, which opens tomorrow. She's also completed a documentary about strippers called Strip Notes. We'll find out about that, too. Please welcome Daryl Hannah. Hi, Daryl. Look at you. You look great. Thanks for coming. Have a seat. How are you? You look great.
Thanks.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
So you got a new film and the documentary, which I saw, which is fascinating. It's about strippers and the whole sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah, cinema verite, though, you know, fly on the wall kind of thing.
Right. So you sort of, did you do the documentary before you did the film or as you were doing it?
Well, I did a film called Dancing in the Blue Iguana, which was done by Michael Radford, who did Il Postino, and it was a sort of experiment in filmmaking because it was totally improvised. Okay. Some people have done improv films before, but they haven't had no storyline, no characters, no structure whatsoever. This had nothing but a location, which was a strip club, and the title, Dancing at the Blue Iguana.
And where was the strip club?
It was also to be developed in the rehearsals.
Okay, well, that certainly makes it easy. Just show up the first day.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm not making a joke. I sort of have a background here because when I started, when I was like 19, I used to work in strip clubs when they had comedians in them.
Work or frequent?
No, well, you know, I was so naive. I didn't know anything. And I was just like a kid. And it was such an odd... Did you find... What is your impression of these women behind the scenes?
Well, I tried not to be too judgmental, you know, because, I mean, it's really... I found out that it was really like any job, you know, in terms of what the people were like. Yeah. I mean, there are good people, there are bad people, there are smart people, there are, you know, everything. But I found the all-nude clubs to be really depressing, so I kind of did most of my research in the more bikini bar type places. Or the.
So you hung out at the strip joint?
I had to because it was all improv, so I got all my story ideas from research. So I spent every night for 4 months in a strip club from 6 at night till 3 in the morning.
What a living hell that must be, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but most of my research was backstage, but I had to work in them as well because I had to learn how to dance because my character had danced for 10 years in a club and I had to actually know what I was doing, so I had to...
Now, did you go on sort of undercover? Were you in disguise dancing?
Yeah.
And were you topless in the club dancing?
Well, I was so nervous about learning how to dance that I would forget to strip because I would be concentrating on my routine most of the time.
I think guys enjoy seeing a good routine. That's the most important thing. Did you find a sadness about some of the girls? Because when I worked there, I found it to be, you know, just,
hard,
well, they're not thinking. You know, there was this one girl I remember working with, and she was broke, and I thought, well, I was going to help her out. And we got to be friends. And then she won a bet and won $1,000 and then bought everybody in the club a drink. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, that's not that kind of money. That's just play money.
It's all cash, though.
You know, and it's like, but you have debts. I mean, I just see they weren't... Did you find that kind of sadness, that kind of illogic?
I mean, I did find like a lot of heart and, you know, generosity. I mean, the girls that I researched and that I did the documentary about, because the documentary is about my research, I just took the camera with me basically, and they were so generous. I mean, most of my tips came from the other dancers. You know?
Well, if you're not taking your top off, the guys aren't going to be. You know. Now, how creepy were the guys? Were the guys? And they always call them gentlemen's clubs, which I like. There's a lot, you know, like you'll see Sir Albert down in the front row. You know, were they creepy? Were they nice?
I was really nervous about interacting with the customers because I was afraid someone would recognize me. So I really focused on the girls and their lives. Well, I mean, I had a wig on and everything, but luckily nobody recognized me. I recognized other people, but they didn't.
Now, how much would you make in tips, like on your best night? Are you undercover? You're doing the kind of like, I always think of T.J. Hooker when Heather Locklear would go undercover. But how much would you make in tips? What would be a good night?
Well, a good night could be several $1,000s, but then a bad night, you don't even have enough to tip out. So it really varies depending on, you know, whether your paycheck came in or the economy or whatever.
Now, did you do the lap dance thing, too? Is that...
I never really got good at the lap dance.
Never
Once
got
again,
good
I was
at
too
it.
shy. Every time when we were improvising, so every time that that lap dances came up in rehearsal or whatever, I'd always decide my character was stoned in the dressing room or something, you know, because I was too scared to get that close to people.
Now, is your character based on a particular... There was one girl I saw in your documentary, and you had a scene that almost mirrored her life. Is it based on a particular...
She's sort of an amalgam of different people, but she is... most of her storylines and a lot of her qualities are based on this one girl, Nikki.
Right, okay. And what is her life? Is she happy with her life? Does she like her life?
She is. She's a very happy girl. You know, she wants to go back to college, of course, you know, and
they all want to go back to college.
But you get trapped and seduced by the by the cash and, you know, the tension and the sort of, you know, family feeling that some of the clubs they have. They don't have it at all.
Let's show a clip. This is the scene where right up here. Is this the one where you get pulled over by the police officer?
Oh yeah, this is a story that came from Nikki's life, and she forgot that she was smoking a joint when she called the police officer to help. No, I like my keys in my car and I've got to be at work. No, damn it. You had a hanger.
This side's open.
You don't lock this door for me.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This right here, this is the lock right.
Ma'am, is this marijuana?
I think it's just it's an herbal cigarette.
You want to step around the side of the car, please?
I did not inhale.
Step around the side of the car, it's going to take a minute.
Well, it's probably just oregano. You should probably have it examined because I don't even feel stoned.
I will have it examined. It'll just take a second. Don't be alarmed.
Do you have to handcuff me?
I'm afraid I do. This will only take a minute.
Now we have our poll here. Are you going to show us some moves?
Well, okay. Where is it?
The pole. Bring the pole out, you guys. We'll bring our pole out.
I was going to teach you some moves, but your pole is kind of crappy, so.
You know, this is the one I have at the house for my wife. You know, so it's we brought it in. So here, now show me. Here we go. This is again. This is being done strictly for an educational purposes. Now, like, what would you do?
Well, you come up here. Wait, let me take my shoes off.
Okay, take your shoes off.
Come up here with me.
And again, feel
I'll
free to
show you.
loosen up.
Come on.
Okay.
You have to try it too, or I'm not going to do
I
it.
can't do this. Pole won't hold me.
Thanks, by the way, for showing my butt in the teaser.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so this is I call this the Nikki spin. I name them
The
after
Nikki spin.
the
I
girls
need to move
that
out of the way?
researched. No, not really. Well, yeah, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you bend your right leg around the pole,
Right.
and then you just grab it with both hands because this is a crabby pole. Put your hand and then
Now, but see, now that's very good. You see, I mean, this part alone. You know. What do I do now?
Yeah, and then grab it with both hands or you'll fall and hurt yourself.
I can't move. How do I move around this? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. I dance under the name Rex the Human Tripod, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with the music of Bush right after this.